point of sales operators, that's POS operators, say there are plans to sue the Corporate Affairs Commission over mandatory registration requirements. On May 6, CAC and financial technology companies agreed to a 2-month timeline which ends on the 7th of July to register their agents, merchants, and individuals with the Commission. According to the Commission, the action is equally backed by Section 863, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, as well as the 2013 Central Bank of Nigeria guidelines on agent banking. The Commission said the registration aims to safeguard the businesses of fintechs and customers, as well as strengthen the economy. However, Elegbede Oluwasegun, National General Secretary of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria, Ammban, said POS operators have decided to take legal action to challenge the legality of the directive. Joining us now on the show is Fasasi Atonda, National President, Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents of Nigeria, Ammban. Good morning,
Good morning.
Mr. Atonda. Good to see you on the show.
Pleasure.
So I hear you're on a legal warpath with this directive for POS operators to register. I want to understand, one would think on the surface of things that this is a good move to protect Nigerians and to ensure that people who are running such a sensitive business are legitimate and can be recognized. But you're fighting this. What is the reason for that? And why are you challenging the legality of it?
Okay, thank you so much. I think we need to first of all understand that there are a lot of misinformation outside there. That is actually one of the reasons why we have to come out and actually, oppose most of these policies. Registration, number one, is not a yardstick of fighting fraud. A lot of registered companies today that are into fraud. And fraud in agency banking is not about CAC registration. It's about collective action of the stakeholders, which we are currently working with all the security agents. You can't regulate what you don't understand, what you are not part of. CAC has registered over 4.9 million businesses in Nigeria as of today. Almost 50% of it fail every 5 years. So their priorities must be or are to be concerned about establishment and viability of businesses, not about registration of what people are seeing as just POS. It is an industry, it is an agenda, it's a global agenda on financial inclusion. So you are trying to destroy and attack the sinks of financial inclusion in Nigeria. That is what you are doing, and it's offending a lot of stakeholders. So today, they need to understand how our industry operates. You don't have most of these fintechs today. They don't operate branches. So they leverage on what we call sub-agents. So they are like branches of the banks. So if it is not correct to say that a branch of a GTB in Egbeda should go and register with CAC, it's also not correct to have a sub-agent of MoneyPoint or OPay to say go and register and that is not what the law says. What the law says is that non-individuals operating under company name, like if you are operating on your signboard, you are operating as Adamu Enterprises. Adamu Enterprises should be on the books of CAC. You must be legally registered. But if you are Adamu Aliyu is an individual. He has nothing. It's just like we are asking Mesuya to go and register. Okay, so that is it.
Let me understand this industry. So most of you, when you go to the banks, say you want to be a sub-agent, and they give you the PA, on what threshold? Are you not a business when they is it just individual?
Yeah, we have category. We have categories. We have two categories. We have individual and non-individuals.
Okay. So there are some of you now that are currently registered with CAC.
A lot of us are registered with CAC.
So why are you having a problem with bringing the other people into the system?
No, the challenge is if we allow this to go unchallenged, they will soon go to my mama that is selling pepper to come and register with CAC. Because the category of the sub-agent that we have, they don't need compulsorily to register.
Okay, so take for instance, I'll think that you are a POS operator yourself. You have a couple of branches, but you're registered as a business.
Of course, because I am at the category of agent network manager.
So why can't the smaller ones also too registered as a business, at least to be able to tie in that corporate end? Or is it because of taxation you don't want? No. Do you guys pay taxation?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So is it because you don't want other people to be in the tax bracket?
No, the challenge is we have created over 2 million jobs in Nigeria in the last couple of years, going by the existing structure.
Okay, the POS operators.
The POS operators.
Tell me about the ecosystem. How many members are there? How many members have you guys got? And how many members do you employ?
It's a big industry. It's a big industry that has employed over 2 million in the last few years.
And how many practitioners?
We have about 217 fintech companies in Nigeria.
No, but how many practitioners, agent bankers?
So agent bankers today, we have about 40% of that are agent network.
So 40% of 2 million?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
So, and you've employed about 2 million?
Of course, about 2 million direct jobs.
So that's a big ecosystem.
It is.
How much do you guys turn over in transactions?
The worth of the industry itself today is about 13 trillion.
13 trillion
Yes.
For agency banking.
For agency banking.
So
it's a big industry that we call fintech, and a lot of investment. The highest, foreign, direct investment into Nigeria in 2022, the largest was into fintech.
Oh yeah. So obviously, how much in taxes do you and your members pay in a year if you turn over 13 trillion?
That record will be with CAC because a lot of us are filing returns to CAC.
So you file returns.
So a lot of us are filing returns with CAC.
Okay. That's decent.
I'm still, and I'm sure a number of people are still wondering what the big issue is. If you have such a big ecosystem and you're turning over such huge amounts of money, what is your what do you have against registering with the CAC, especially for your smaller agents? Is it because we've eliminated the issue of tax? You say that's not the challenge. Yeah. What is the challenge? Okay,
the challenge is we are trying to chase a lot of people out of jobs. The meaning of that is they are surviving with 20,000 naira in terms of working capital, and you're asking them to come and pay over 15 or 20,000 naira for registration, and every year you're asking them to come and be filing returns, as an individual, whereas they are just a branch of a company, an existing company. So that is the whole idea about it. And also, the CBN memo that instructed that agents should register is actually talking about non-individual. If you look at that memo, non-individual. So why is CAC, enforcing people and threatening to send police after the POS?
So they're saying they will send police after the
Yes, by July. They are fixed July 7th.
Okay.
July deadline.
So we are saying we are going to challenge it.
Let's talk about fraud and ease of banking and this over 200 fintechs.
Yeah.
What are the major ones some of you use, and how have they been able to mitigate fraud alerts?
Yeah, I think before the launching and declaration of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the launching of Strategy on Financial Inclusion in 2011, we all understand the fact that banking in Nigeria was a nightmare, and coupled with the fact that over 300 local governments in Nigeria are without bank branches. So, and the largest transactions are happening in the informal sector in Nigeria, and this population are excluded. So, the POS that you are saying are meant to actually bridge the gap.
Yeah.
So, and you will all agree with me. If you sample about 100 Nigeria on the street today, ask them how many people have visited the bank this year. About 80% will tell you that I have nothing to do at the banks since I can see at the POS and do my payments and move on.
But we're not happy with you guys because of your charges.
The charges it is a cost to serve because they also have cost ingredients.
Yeah. Like what?
So you run with your own capital. So as interest rates is increasing, you also need to go and increase your own cost to charge. You jump from one vehicle to the other to go and withdraw the cash. You spend transportation where you are spending 200 naira before is now 400 naira. So and staff, to keep a staff today, because we are one of the largest employer of low-level manpower today. Yeah. Because all these are waiting school starts, are waiting admission. We are the one that are engaging them and preventing
like
them.
2 million of them.
Yeah, so
how much do you pay per your staff?
So it depends from state to state. So
in Lagos, for instance.
In Lagos, for instance, we are paying minimum of 50,000 naira
a month.
In a month,
per staff.
per staff. And
in Kano, for instance, how much?
In Kano, a minimum of 30,000 naira in Kano.
Right. In Abakaliki, how much do they pay?
In Abakaliki, at the average of 50,000 naira in Abakaliki.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let me ask you with regards to the details of how you protect not just your members, but also users, because I want to understand that as an umbrella body, that's where you sort of put people in check and, there are checks and balances there. What are these measures? Maybe perhaps these would persuade the fact that you're doing a fine job already. You're protecting not just your your members, but also users, because we've heard of abuses, fraud, sometimes some laundering here and there. So share with us, what are some of those checks and balances that Ammban places on its members?
This is a fantastic question. The same question Mr. Vice President asked us last month in one of our occasions at the Villa. He said, you guys are doing well, but there are a lot of frauds outside there. So what are you doing? And immediately we assured him that we're already working with the security agencies to have what we call joint task force. We just launched it in Lagos last month, where we have all security officers to be on the same table, so that if there are red flags, because we do see red flags transactions. We are aware where they are doing cash out for bandits. We are aware because most of those rural areas, there are no banks. But the challenge we have been having is we really don't have a desk to escalate it to. And at times when you arrest criminals, who is going to prosecute? Who is going to finance that prosecution? When you alert the banks or service providers that you have so fraud that you suspect, they won't arrest them. They will allow them because they are more focused on business. We now discover that it is important to work with the security agents. So we visited the IGP and the DSS, and also we are also speaking with EFCC. And part of what we are also trying to correct is most of the security agents, they also need to work in synergy with us and have the understanding, because you can only secure what you understand. Just last week or so, EFCC was quoted to say that POS agents are working with bank officials to make cash unavailable at the banks.
Because of what you charge. But so how
it was laughable, quite all right, that is actually coming from security agents.
No, but the analogy is that some of your bank officials have POS businesses which you guys, they own POS businesses.
It is wrong.
No, there are some of your members that work in banks.
It is no.
None of your members.
It is not allowed.
So there is no member of this
member of this Ammban that works in the bank.
Or has links in the bank.
No, the reality is that
do they have links in the bank?
They don't have links in the bank.
Nobody has links in the
bank. The banks don't even have cash to give out.
All right, so
because the masses of our people, because of the policy, the cashless policy, people taking their money to the bank, they couldn't withdraw their money back, then you are limiting them. There are a lot of policies in the banking sector that is chasing.
Banks doesn't have money, but how do you guys get your money?
Because money is now circulating outside the banking sector. You have over 3.9 trillion cash in circulation that are not reflecting in the banking.
So you buy from filling stations?
No, it's not buying. We bank them now. So we have agents that deploy, pick up cash, you get my point, and pay it out. So transaction is actually terminating at agent locations now. Not that agents are going to the bank to go, and now agents are not even recognized by the banks.
So
if you're you're picking up cash, then you should be registered because you are doing the work of a bank. Ayo, go ahead, please.
We are registered. So most of those agents, they are registered.
And I like that you talk about the link between that and banditry.
Yes.
And you talk about the fact that you also notice that some of them aid transfer of money. And so that's critical for us in Nigeria. Now, the second aspect, you say we don't allow that. What are your rules of engagement?
Okay.
What are the rules that people who come under Ammban must follow? Because you're saying one thing, and what we're hearing is something totally different. You're saying you have no links to bank staff. But what we hear is that there's a racketeering going on there. That's why you go to your ATM, you won't get money, but you will get money from an agent banker, because of course you put a premium on withdrawing money, and then you settle your person.
Honestly, those are assumptions, and that was why we are saying that if EFCC today, if they have the facts and figures to substantiate that claim, let them publish it.
Rules of engagement.
You understand? So the rules of engagement, we have introduced an identity card, verifiable an identity card that can match an agent with the device they are carrying. Because what we have observed today is all the POS agents outside there, they are actually operating, most of them are operating outside the laid down agency banking regulation. When you see somebody under an umbrella, it's not operating under a physical location, as stated in the bill. So now, and it is dangerous to transact with that. So we are educating the populace that only, work in a physical location with a signage, of a service provider. You must display the service. So the rules are there. It's only for us to work together with the security agent and enforce this. So we introduce an identity card that is linked to your device serial. There is what we call terminal identity number, which is TID number. So it is your unique identity number. There is no fake POS anywhere, because before a POS can actually be live, it must have passed through what we call NIPS. It's already on the NIPS. So, and there is a particular license providers that actually approach NIPS. It's only licensed provider that can approach NIPS, that register those TIDs with NIPS. So it is an automated industry, and it's a secured industry. What is important is we are not talking to ourselves before now. We are not seeing security as important before now. But now all fintechs, they are now working with the association. We have set up a mini controller where we can have visibility to all transactions happening on the terminal IDs.
Okay. So, with what you said, you guys should go ahead and give most of you even microfinance bank licenses, because you are going to pick up cash. You are handling the cash ecosystem. You are saying this industry is about 13 trillion.
Yeah.
And if you are even saying it's an individual with low capital, you should be able to make the registration. That's the argument.
No,
Secondly, what are you also doing? And this report has come to the fore many times. What are you also doing? As regards people that come to POS operators, they say if for some POS operators, when you come there, after taking your cash and everything, they have a racketeering system where somebody comes, they come to print out all the slips in the evening, they collect card details and start to exploit and siphon money off people's accounts. What are you doing because those complaints have been made?
There are complaints that are yet to be actually substantiated, quite all right, because for every transaction to go through, it requires the authorization of the card owner.
Yeah.
You have to authorize by providing an OTP for any card to get through.
No, not in all cases.
So most cases. Now, in our own situation, what we have done,
because I've used POS operators. Yeah. I just put in my PIN code and everything. No,
without PIN.
No, what I put in my PIN.
Yeah.
That's it.
Your PIN is your authorization.
Yeah, they don't need to send me an OTP via phone. But even with that PIN, some people will read your hand and they take the what's it called, the off the card, and they use it for fraud.
Part of our training is you have to ensure that you don't allow a POS agent to see your PIN. It's confidential to you. It's confidential to you. Right. So we are and now you can actually identify which agents are authentic.
But some of your POS operators are fraudulent like that. They catch your PIN, they catch all your details.
There is no new innovation that you won't find bad eggs. Okay. And that is why we are working to fight the bad eggs.
Two questions for you as we begin to wrap up. The first is, you say that all POS operators are rooted because they have to register through NIPS. So why is it difficult for this challenge with the bandits to identify which POS operator actually initiated that transaction and use that to trace? That's one. And then the second thing, of course, is what are your prayers to the courts in your court against the CAC? I know you've listed some things in terms of the legality of them to even be able to introduce this registration. I'd like you to break it down in terms of what prayers you're seeking from the court. So
let me start from your first question of how are we identifying, those red flags, those bad transactions. I think most frauds, we have human-related frauds, we have technology frauds. In fact, most of the banks, most of the providers, they have been attacked. They have also been robbed because fraud in the system is multifaceted. Recently, big organizations like InterSwitch and Co., they declared 30 billion loss due to what we call chargebacks. And these chargebacks, as they are happening, some of us that have that network, we can suspect what transaction can be fraudulent. But the challenge is, we are not talking to ourselves in this ecosystem. When you escalate such today, it hardly gets, an attention. And that is why today we are putting up a platform of joint task force for us to be talking to ourselves. So before you can see massive fraud in agency banking business, there will be pointers. Some people are seeing it, but we just need to act on it. Then on the issue of what are our prayers to CAC, number one is for us to, it's not fighting, we just want to get the interpretation of the law on the that section, 863. It is clearly stated that you can only operate as a company or as a business if you register with CAC. Not you are operating as an individual. If you are operating as an individual, that clause, we just want to go and seek for that interpretation, and also to stop CAC from sending police to harass the innocent, jobless Nigerians outside there. There are things that we can have conversation around.
So you think the timeline is too short? The July deadline given?
Yeah, until we have that clarity about what the law says. What we are saying is most of those agents you see, they are already registered. They are branches. They are branches like what we have branches in the banks. So they are branches of the fintechs companies, non-banks.
Good.
Yeah.
As we wrap up,
yeah.
Do you have a back end where you can track most of your members and transactions and all of that?
Yes. All aggregators, they have what we call dashboard.
Okay, so you have a dashboard.
So we have a live transaction.
You have a live transaction.
Live transaction.
For national, for Ammban.
Yes, for view.
Okay.
And we just signed an agreement with Nigerian Police Force, VGS, to set up a control room where we can also see the physical locations of agents that sign up,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll wrap it up there.